October 3rd. It is good to be back.
You're tuned into the Elevator Radio Show, a weekly program dedicated to covering news and information on elevators, escalators, and moving walkways. Produced in the wee hours of the morning, a new show is uploaded every Wednesday, sometimes even before you get out of bed. Listen to some of the comments sent in from our audience.
Rob from New York writes, Tom, are you f***ing insane? You actually get up at 2 a.m. each Wednesday to put this show out? Man, you must love elevators. Tim from Illinois writes, I'm not sure why I listened, but ever since I tuned into the first show back in 2007, I've been addicted. Matt in Texas writes, I like your safety messages, Tom. It's important to remember them each and every day. And he also adds, when am I going to win the monthly prize pack giveaway? Ron from California sent this in. Despite your inability to pronounce words in the English language, I tune in each week and am glad that you offer this service to the industry. It's better than Google News alerts. Sarah from Washington writes, love the show, Tom, and look forward to it each week. I'm glad I signed up for the newsletter. You provide a valuable resource for the industry, not only for North America, but worldwide.
Enjoy the show. And now, here's your sleep-deprived host, Tom Seibert.
Hello and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, whenever you are listening to the show. Welcome to the Elevator Radio Show. I've got to turn this off. There we go. It is good to be here. This is show number 500 and let's see here, bear with me, 516, actually 515 if you don't count the September 19th show where everything hit the fan. Had the show notes all ready to go, ready to record, turned on my production computer, and nothing happened. Replaced the power supply, 2 days later, and nothing again happened. So my wonderful computer that my son had built me, probably when he was 9 or 10, and had probably more duct tape on the inside, taping up fans to try to cool this supercomputer off, finally had met its demise. And unfortunately, I think we might have had some thunderstorms roll through, and because we lost some other equipment, electrical equipment here at work, and which is kind of a pain in the, but to have to go through that process, that's why you want to make sure your backups are done frequently and often. So we are back to doing the show, just the audio portion. So the video is not there, and the reason for that is because I need a supercomputer to run that many cameras and process everything that needs to go on behind the scenes. So we're going old school. This is how the show started back in 2008, I think, when we started this fun, or maybe it was 5. I think it was 5, when really there was no way of getting the show other than the internet. You couldn't really find it on iTunes because iTunes didn't exist that I know of. You had to download it to an MP3 player if you wanted to take it with you. Your phone wasn't capable of doing that. Actually, there was a service out there where you could upload the show and you could dial into this service and listen to the show on your phone. It wasn't great quality, but I mean, just to give you an idea where we started and what it was like back then. My MP3 player was gray, had a little LCD screen on it, had a 1 AAA battery that you'd have to replace maybe every week or so. But I loved it. It was kind of cool technology, Had a USB stick, stuck it in there. MP3 player, your file would be downloaded from the interweb, go onto the MP3 player, and away you go. It was pretty cool. So, so I am looking at other products that might be able to accommodate the video element that I'm looking for. The problem is that they're expensive. They require some additional cameras that are not USB and web-based. And the reality is the show is not something that, generates any revenue whatsoever. It's goodwill for me, to our industry. Love doing it. And if I can't justify that cost associated with the equipment, which I think I can. Normally I can do that kind of thing, but the learning curve and the software and everything is going to change as well. So anyway, I'll keep you posted on how that all goes, and hopefully once we do, if we do turn the show back on, the video side, it'll be something that really kind of is good, and maybe even we'll take the show in a different direction. Who knows? Okay, so last week I was in Atlantic City. Yeah, man, lots to talk about in the last 2-3 weeks. So Wisconsin Elevator Symposium was the week before. I did not make it. I did learn that through one of our sales reps who attended that event. It was a great attendance, record. People showed up. I was getting text messages from people who were there asking why I wasn't there and saying, hey, you're missing the fun. And I love that venue. There are people that go up there not only for the code update requirements that they need, but also to get away, enjoy the weekend up there at the Grand Geneva. It's a wonderful area. I love it up there. And I'm just sorry that I missed it. I had a kind of a family issue I had to deal with, but yeah, I do wish I didn't miss it. It's nice because it's not too far away, but yet not too, from like O'Hare or Milwaukee, and it serves really the Midwest and has done an excellent job doing that for so many years. So hats off to NASA in your continued. Promotion of that event, and also in your continued QEI educational programs throughout the country that you serve not only, your customer base or your membership, but so many more. So thanks for doing that. I wish I missed that. Last week I was in Atlantic City. I did make that event, and it was great to see so many who stopped by our booth, said hello. And what's nice about, going to the East Coast is that so many New Yorkers come down. There are people from New Jersey. There are people from the East Coast that really flock to that show. Atlantic City, I love New Jersey, but Atlantic City is not a great place to go. I'm just going to say it right there and then. I think I've been there one too many times, and I think once was enough. And unfortunately, and I don't mean it in a bad way, I guess I do mean it in a bad way, as we're going back there to exhibit, I don't know, 3-5 years from now, and then another 5 years based on our contract. So the exciting news is that based upon what I saw at this year's show, the requirement to find these kind of special venues that can support a building or an elevator may change based on the information or the fact that last year, we didn't have a working elevator on the trade floor. So I truly hope that is going to be the norm in the future, and it will definitely open us up to more cities, more venues that we can get into and that don't require building a full, working elevator structure as we have in the past and for so many years, or one vendor has. And so we'll see what happens. But it was a great show. It was good to see so many who had come out. Congratulations, Craig Zomchek, who stepped down as the current NAC president. I know it was not an easy year for you, and you worked very hard at trying to make the association a better one. I do believe that you did do that, you and your board. Hats off to you as a young father, and I know that's not easy to do, and so admire you for everything it did to make the association better. So thank you for that, Craig, and a lot of respect for what you do. Thanks to the Elevator Riders Riding Club, Glenn Duncan, for holding the 50-50 raffle. I do not recall how much money was raised, but he worked feverishly to raise funds. I donated to that as well. And there was a winner of that. And if you look at the ESF Facebook page, that information on there. But Glenn, thank you for all you do as well. And I'm trying to think of what else is going on that I wanted to kind of talk about. I think I had a whole list. I actually was thinking about it last night when I went home, and I think that's probably plenty for now. Yeah, I think that's it. So next year, the NAC convention will be held in Grand Rapids, Michigan, which will be a different kind of venue. I know when it was held in Cincinnati, there are a lot of people that said, well, what's Cincinnati? Where are we going there? But actually, that was a pretty neat city to go visit. I have to say, it was nice to go and pay parking, pay $15 for parking for the day and not have to dish out $1 billion as, for this, that, and the other thing. But like I said, New Jersey there's some great places in New Jersey, beautiful places. Love looking at the ocean every day when I was in Atlantic City. But the reality is it's just, the Atlantic City is just not what it used to be, unfortunately. And I was surprised just the number of, panhandlers and homeless people and elderly just basically looking like they were sinking their Social Security savings into a slot machine, which is about as depressing as you can get. Not only that, but just I don't think they fully recovered from when the hurricane came in and basically washed away or flooded the entire city. So anyway, that's about it. Again, it was a good event. Glad I'm home. And so we'll look forward to next year and heading to Grand Rapids, which is a little bit closer. So only time will tell to see how that event goes. I think Houston is a year after. I don't know. Anyway, but it's good to know that is a done deal, and it is in the books. So, I just want to share one thing real quick. Sorry to ramble on. I feel like I haven't talked to anybody in a long time. One of the things I wanted to share on the show September 19th before heading to, before the technical difficulties was when I was a kid. Okay, my dad was an elevator contractor. He would go to the show every year, and he had one of the big clam case, suitcases back from the 70s that pretty much everybody had. I think it was a Samsonite or whatever. And I can vividly remember running to him when he got home as he put it on the bed, and he'd have all of these goodies inside of it, and I just loved it. I mean, there'd be like lifesavers and pens and just stuff, and it was always special, and I love my dad for going and thinking about me and just collecting stuff like that. And that's why we at the show always have giveaways that we give away, because to some child or some son or daughter, when their parents are away on a business trip, those are not easy business trips, and it's nice to come home with some tchotchkes for your kids. So. Yeah, so that's I just want to share that with you. So I will never forget that. So, and I cherish that forever. I will cherish that forever. But the show has changed definitely over the years. I've been doing it since 96 or 95, and it's a different dynamic. But things change, just the reality of it all. So anyway, that's pretty much all I had to share, I think. And I will we'll cover the news of the week next. I do have some of the articles I touched on 2 weeks ago, and I think we should have you out of here. So yeah, the show will be posted. It goes to iTunes. It also gets uploaded into Blueberry, where our content is hosted. It will be uploaded to YouTube and converted to an MP3 file. But just so you know, it's not actually a video. So if you're watching this right now on YouTube, on the YouTube channel, and you're like, hey, where's the video feed? It's just the logo, just so you know. Don't be surprised that there's not more information, or there's not more stuff that you're missing. Okay? So anyway, get into the news next and have you out of here in no time.
Let this week's news stories give you a lift on what's happening in the vertical transportation arena. Each news segment is organically dug and fresh with news stories of the week. Got lift? If not, stay tuned.
All right, so again, if you've watched the program in the past, maybe you follow along with the links or whatnot, but you can do that now. So go to elevatorradioshow.com, keyword search Elevator Radio Show 516, and you should find it. You'll see a construction elevator that's pink in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Week, or month, because we're in October. And just follow along as we talk if you like, or however you want to do it, or if I talk about an article and you want to remember where that's at, go ahead and go back to it. Okay, therealdeal.com has an article: construction worker dies after possible electrocution at Midtown 8. Not quite sure about the specifics of this, other than a construction worker at Midtown 8 in Miami died on Tuesday afternoon after he was possibly electrocuted while working on a building's elevator system. So it's definitely a tragedy. Make sure you are careful out there, and you are doing everything you can to practice safe work habits. And electricity will kill if something you can't see either. So I don't know whether or not this was a construction mechanic or what, but just awful. So these are preventable accidents. We cannot become too complacent in what we do. Please be vigilant in promoting safety any chance that you can. Okay. Next news article: space elevator closer than we think. I got a question mark after that, as I posted in the show notes, because I still don't think we are closer than we think. So you can read more about that. That was posted by NBCnews.com, and it's just kind of regurgitation of the fact that Japan launched a satellite to do some testing. And if you do some Google searching on that, you'll see that the satellite they launched, there's like two little boxes. I just don't know how that can ever how that can ever, excuse me, I'm so sorry. I don't know how that can ever be compared to an actual space elevator. I think I've shared with this, and I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer on this stuff. I really don't. I don't mean to be that way. But reality is that, I don't know, 10 years ago, they were creating the nanotube ribbon cable they were going to use, and they had taken 4 years to create 6 feet of it. So I just, just one of those deals I just don't quite understand. Next news article, Grandview Towers elevator has elevator issues. There's another story in the news in Indiana where in Evansville, and one of those deals where, you don't get the whole truth. And that was something that was talked about at the in Atlantic City with a few consultants. And, when you talk about elevator issues, you really don't get to the bottom, or the news media doesn't really get to the bottom of what perhaps might be the issue. 9 times out of 10, or a lot of the times, it could be financial issues. It could be money where money is owed, or there's not enough money in the budget to either maintain the equipment or upgrade it, et cetera, et cetera. Not only that, but equipment that is old in some ways is more reliable, other ways it's not, has longer lead times. So as elevator contractors out there and salespeople, do your due diligence in trying to promote, your customer and stocking products that, can help minimize shutdowns in the future. I got to tell you, when some of our equipment here in our shop, I have backups for equipment I know may not be available someday. So, make sure you're doing your due diligence to, to promote that to your customer. It is an option. It's not a cheap option necessarily. We've got a customer that, doesn't want to be down at all. So what did they do? They wanted a backup controller. But, seems silly, but when you're fabricating a product, or you're making a product where shut down in a line is $1 million a day, a $30,000 controller and whatever it might cost to install it is like nothing. So, keep that in mind. Okay, next news article. Oh, yeah, we have what goes around comes around. That's all I can say. I think people who are evil deserve to have things happen to them like this. And again, this is an article coming from a different country. I want to say South Africa, but I'm not even 100% sure. I don't know if it's true, but the title of it says it all. Rape suspect dies after falling down elevator shaft. Apparently, a Durban man plunged 18 meters to his death in an elevator shaft on Tuesday after escaping from police custody. So you gotta think. I would think. I don't mean to be the presumed guilty until presumed guilty until proven innocent necessarily. But in this case, if you're a rape suspect and you're trying to evade the police, there's a good chance that perhaps you are an evil person or somebody who literally, I don't know. It's just my own opinion. Could be totally wrong on that whole thing. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. And for those that don't get there, what goes around come around. In this lifetime, there will be another lifetime where that will catch up to you, I think. Maybe. Or I believe, maybe. That's my own opinion. Don't take me to court. Okay, TK expects to split its lift. I don't understand if they're splitting their stock or if they're splitting their company. Or I don't really understand. This is coming from NASDAQ. It says ThyssenKrupp's planned split is likely to result in an improved book value for its elevator business. Some analysts estimate that elevator technology, ThyssenKrupp's, I'm sure if they're talking about splitting the entity off or splitting the stock. I don't really understand. I don't get it. Somebody wants to share on that, please feel free to. elevatorradioshow@gmail.com, or leave a post on the Facebook. My computer, my laptop. I'm running all of this off my laptop, and it is really struggling. Come on. Okay. But it is good to be back, I gotta tell you. Just bear with me. Sometimes I think that the internet is just being clogged. early in the morning because Microsoft is doing updates and all that good stuff. Okay, next news article, man rescued after being trapped 3 days in, this happened in London. So obviously their codes in London and Europe are different than in the United States. I learned in Atlantic City, they're very different. Don't cover quite as much as they should, or that we in America or United States or North America feel that they should, and for good reason. We should never adopt EN81 or merge them. That is my own personal perspective on that, unless they adopt A17. Anyway, yeah, kind of scary. 3 days. Okay, bear with me here. We're getting there. We're close, but not that close. Come on. You know what it is some of these web pages literally are just brutal. All right, come on, little computer, you can do it. You can do it. Okay, I'm gonna let you read this next one. Right to know in PA. This is a penlive.com news article. Is the elevator you're riding safe? ? You have no right to know in PA. You know what? I don't think that's necessarily correct in how this article is written. Under the laws in PA, I'm sure there's information. Man, I am just getting killed on this. I'm going to have to scoot through most of these other articles. I apologize because I think I'm getting too many things running in the background. I'm going to have to figure something out pretty quick. Anyway, can you imagine if you're news reporting and you're contacting the local inspector or the AHJ or whoever holds or the certificates and say, hey, can you check all these elevators to find out whether or not they're safe? I mean, some cities can't. It's very difficult to pull that information up. You know what I mean? And to look that up. We do. It's like here at work, my day job. We have jobs that date back to 1910, old, and equipment's still running from that time period. We have people that calls up mechanics like, hey, can you send me the wiring diagrams for the serial number controller? Or they give us job name or address. Not too easy to find. But what they don't realize is that there's not just one wiring diagram for for that controller. We have thousands of wiring diagrams. We have to go into our archives. We have to find the serial number. Then we have to cross-reference it. Then we have to find the wiring diagrams in 2 different locations. Then we have to scan it. Then we have to send it. So people go, well, why are you charging for that? Well, it costs somebody time to do that. So the reality is that, man, I wish it were easier, but it's not. It's just not. It's not an easy thing to do. So maybe that's something that's out there to do that. Okay, next news article that I found was actually an article talking about what is an elevator maintenance agreement. This was published in the facilityexecutive.com, which is intended for those that manage facilities. So I think seeing more of these kind of elevator-related articles is very important in how people manage their buildings, how people see their elevators, and understand the necessity of a maintenance control program, elevators in general, elevator maintenance agreements, et cetera, et cetera. So I think this is great. This was actually written by, I lost the name right there, but I believe he's an elevator guy or consultant of some type. But anyway. Okay, next news article. CEA meeting is tomorrow night. I am going to try to get to that, but I do not think we are full-fledged into our football season. So Thursday nights are the team dinners, so I am probably not going to make it. I'd like to make it, but Eklund's is going to be talking. Vader is going to be talking November, and then our annual Christmas party is December 5th. So information on that can be found through the website that's linked in the show notes. As always, or go to CEA-online.org. Come on, computer, you can do it. So this laptop I got is probably kind of old. It's probably from like 2010, 12 maybe. Doesn't seem that old, but it's old enough. Next news article, elevator shaft falls from building as typhoon hits. I posted this on last week's program, on the first show. There's a video. I'm not going to play it, but it's pretty interesting to see the force of a typhoon and what it does. Next news article, construction company or lifts go pink. This is breast cancer awareness month, which means you'll see a lot of pink. We had pink at our football game last week. So cancer is a terrible thing. what prostate cancer is to men, breast cancer is to women, and anybody who is battling it is not, it is not something easy to deal with. And anybody who has had cancer affect any of their family members will understand just how devastating and how difficult any kind of, family, trying to support or supporting, fighting any kind of cancer is. I wish, I know we've made progress. I know we have in fighting cancer. I just want to eradicate it. I really do. Next news article, New York City Department of Buildings Compliance Filings move online. Everybody check that out on their own. I'm not going to click on it. But yeah, so there are cities out there that still, are doing paper the way they've been doing it for a long time. And obviously moving online is the better way of doing. So so more information, click on the link. 10 injured in an escalator accident in a high school. This happened in Stuyvesant High School in Manhattan. Let you all read about that because everything's going too slow. It's kind of scary. I don't know too many escalators that are in schools, but high schools. But obviously, for 10 people to get hurt, that's not a very common thing. It's not just one person falling over the side or anything. So, and the last news article was this tragic in Bulgaria. Apparently, a child dies in an elevator accident. Which is something that we never want to read about anywhere in the world. So don't know the particulars of this, but just as a reminder, if you're traveling internationally, just know that the codes and the equipment, no matter what it is, it could be elevators, it could be escalators, it could be buildings for that matter, or automobiles. They're not. Those standards are not the same. Some countries don't even have standards, are not necessarily the same as what we have in the United States. And as much as you want to complain or beef about just the United States in general or have issues with it, we are pretty lucky in what we do in our code. Those that serve on our code committees, those that promote our industry, those that promote safety. So with that said, continue the fight to promote safety, and as always, do your best to do that each and every day, each and every week. So, well, that's going to do it for this show, everybody. I want to thank you for joining us today. As always, spread the word of the show if you can, and we'll be back next Wednesday. So take care. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.